Should we get to the elephant in the room before we get
Might as well.
kind of this? I'm just calling it open-ended because I just kind of wanted us to, chat for a while and just see where things go on kind of where the Wild are at. Because as we'll talk about, as I plan to talk about at the end, like it sounds like we're getting closer to the anticipated start date for the season. So we're not going to have all that many weeks that we have to kind of fill till we get there. But before we get to that, should probably get to the report that has been it's been making the rounds, and it won't be, I don't think it'll be something that you'll see written on miniice.com now that it's out there. We haven't officially launched yet, but like you can view the site. It's there.
Yeah.
This won't be something that will appear in written form there. So this will kind of serve as our statement on everything, because there still is a lot to go through with this whole situation. Obviously, some pretty serious allegations, a pretty cringe-worthy, eye-opening report to read. But I am of the belief that until we get some sort of official word as to what happened, what didn't happen, I'm going to withhold judgment. I know we tend to, it seems like, really rush to be the jury on situations like this without necessarily getting the whole story, having all the facts. And so I'm simply going to just wait until this has been wait until the process has been carried out, and once it has, if the things that have been alleged are true, well, then that's when we can serve that judgment if needed.
For those of you that don't know, I'm sure everyone does know by now, or at least a good part of it. Bill Guerin's name came up in some past stuff with Pittsburgh Penguins, down with his time at Wilkes-Barre in the AHL when he was running that team down there as the assistant GM for the Penguins. But essentially there was two coaches down there. Two coaches and one of their wives were out to dinner, and the other one was apparently sexually harassed by not her husband, the other guy. Hands up the shirt, that type of stuff. But she was sexually harassed from the sound of it. And this happened, I think it was last summer or somewhere. It was last year that this happened.
Yeah.
So, the reason why Bill Guerin's brought into this, and first off, I do want to say too, this is Pittsburgh Penguin news. This is not Minnesota Wild news. Obviously, It pertains to Bill Guerin, but the whole thing was that apparently he tried to cover it up. His name was thrown in there, whatever. The truth of the matter, we see what we see. We don't know. We have no idea what actually transpired. And what seems to have happened is, he kind of was hush about it, tell him, hey, don't tell him anything. But, so that never looks good reading that. I think it is what it is. I think, the good news is that Billy wasn't the one doing the sexual harassing.
Right.
That's where the problem would have been for sure. But the weirdest thing that I thought about that report when I originally read it from, was it Sportsnet or TSN?
It was one of the two. I want to say it was Sportsnet.
I think it was Sportsnet too. So they broke the story, and obviously it just went crazy. At what point do you hold the husband accountable? He was apparently sitting in the front seat, and he had no idea that his wife was getting harassed in the back seat. I don't understand how you can't tell that's happening, or, you can't tell me that he didn't look back at all or anything like that. And, I don't want to be judgmental or anything, but you can always kind of tell just by looking at someone if, that guy probably sexually harasses women. That coach had that look to him, the one that is reportedly for that, so, I just feel like a lot of people rush to it, calling for Billy G's head. Like, he has to be fired right now. He has, if you have any bit of integrity, Minnesota Wild, get rid of him. He has to resign. Let's just hold back. Let's let everything play out, because a lot of things are taken out of context. And, so.
Well, and the other things that I've thought about with this too is like, it might not have been, we don't know this, and so I'm recklessly speculating.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Might be completely inappropriate, but the call to not do anything about this or to keep it hush hush may not have been Guerin's call to make. Like, he was the assistant GM at the time.
Exactly.
It could have come way higher up the line.
Assistant GM and even GMs are puppets.
To where he could have and again, I don't know if this is the case. I'm trying to throw out a potential explanation here. He could have sent it up the ladder and been told, we need to keep this 100% quiet for the integrity of the organization. You're talking about the Pittsburgh Penguins franchise, one of the most popular franchises in the NHL. They are for sure looking out for their image at all times. And so, yes, Bill Guerin was named in this report and these allegations came out. All I am suggesting is that it was said that he said that they need to keep this quiet, that may not have been his call. That call could have been made for him.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. That's essentially my views as well. Everyone needs to have an opinion, and it's either this or this. I like the mindset that you have, and there's so many different things that can happen. Just because something's written doesn't mean that's the way that it happened, or that's the way that your mind plays tricks on you. But the other thing that I think about as well, and I'm not defending Bill Guerin. I don't know him. I don't know what happened, but generally speaking, you go around the league and you talk to people about Bill Guerin as a player, as a human, and as a coach and manager. He's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. So I do have a hard time believing that if he knew one of his coach's wives was sexually harassed, he would have damn near done something about it or wanted to do something about it. But like you're saying, there's always that puppet mentality too of you want to fix something, but you can't.
Look at what just happened to the Washington football team. That report that they had where the cheerleaders, all of that went all the way up to the top. Look at how far under the rug that was swept.
Right.
And that gets to, I think, this bigger issue in that, and not all franchises are like this, but there just has been so many instances like this that we don't even hear about.
Right.
Just because of how
far worse things
and how much teams look at dollar signs that are made by the image that their franchise projects.
Mm-hmm.
And so any attempt to tarnish that can impact those dollar signs. I'm not condoning it. I'm not defending it. That's just how the world works. And again, all I'm going to say with this whole thing is that we don't know if that was Bill Guerin's call himself or if that call was made for him. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep. And, lastly, that we'll talk about this because, I feel like unless something else comes up, this is as much as we need to talk about it here on mini ice and, in the state of Minnesota for that matter. But I just sincerely hope that the wife and husband are okay, and that,
Yes.
she's not mentally scarred by this, because being around sports, there's pigs. There's some pigs in this league and world, and sports are a brutal, brutal place sometimes. So if this did happen and it is true, my sincere condolences to the girl and to her husband and family and anyone else who was affected. So, that's kind of where I want to leave things there on a peaceful term and just wish the best.
I fully agree, and that's as far into that as we're going to go. So,